Happy holidays, fight fans. I am Jason Burgos for Sherdog.com, and I am joined by arguably the PFL's most popular and exciting fighter. On New Year's Eve in New York City, he will step into the cage for the second straight year in the PFL Welterweight Championship fight. This year, he will face off with UFC veteran David Michaud in what is sure to be a very interesting scrap. And that man is Bradda Boy himself, Ray Cooper the third. Ray, happy holidays. It's good to talk to you again, and thank you for the time tonight, and thank you for all the fun of dealing with the weirdness of Skype.
Yeah, thank you. Aloha. Yes, thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. Now, I was at the media day and the workout for the championship last year, and a funny moment was you mentioning not liking the cold here in New York City. Well, here we are again. You will be back in this New York cold, and it's colder this winter, it feels like, than last. Are you even better prepared for this year? And would you say you are dreading the New York cold maybe more than David Michaud?
Actually, no, I'm not dreading it anymore. I'm kind of prepared, so and I'm hopefully it snows over there. I never did see
Ooh.
snow, but so yeah, I'm ready for it. It's exciting, and to fight in Madison Square Garden again, it's a big opportunity, and I'm not gonna let it slip this time.
A lot of folks may forget when they watch the championship fights that all of you know in the championship fights they had to train through the holidays, including Christmas, which comes 7 days before the fight, and for some of you it is like the beginning of the process for that final cut down, those 7 days or whatever. I talked to a couple fighters who had camp during Thanksgiving a few weeks ago, and they were happy to have camp during Thanksgiving than over Christmas. This is your second straight year in camp during Christmas. Is it all at all tough and frustrating to be having camp at Christmas, or is it kind of easier for you because you have your family so close all the time for training and everything like that, and it's not too big a deal to do that?
Yeah, it's not a big a deal for me. I don't cut that much weight. Probably do. I walk around very light. My weight is there. I'm pretty much on weight already, and I enjoy the holidays. I really don't cut off my eating. I eat all the way out till the probably the fight weekend. Yeah, it's perfect for me. I get to spend time with my family and then go have fun and fight in New York City.
So you get to enjoy the feast. You get to eat most of the food, or do you have a favorite thing you like to eat on Christmas?
Not really. Back home we just it's like on potluck. Everybody makes their own stuff, but my grandma usually makes things that I usually eat, like fried rice and
Mm,
barbecue pork ribs, and
nice.
just all kind of Hawaiian dishes, and it's perfect.
For anyone that has watched the PFL and has seen your post fight interviews, you're a very deeply religious guy. Has religion always been a major part of your life? Was it not at some time and you were born again? And then how much influence does religion have in your fighting career?
I really don't call it religion. I'm just a believer in Christ, and I always growing up believing in Christ. My mom was a strong believer, and back home it's really down here it's really religious with the Hawaiians. They really worship their gods, and I really didn't take to that. There's only one God, and His name is Jesus Christ, and um, I really believe that. And yeah, it was a part of me from when I was growing up, and when I was young, when I was in high school. I just felt like His Spirit was always with me and
Hmm.
always gonna guide me on the right path. And yeah, and then I'm here now, and He's been behind me this whole time, and it shows for itself. God just keeps blessing me, and I just keep doing the right things, staying humble, and keep just fighting strong.
So since you don't say it's a religion, do you not consider yourself, say, Christian, Catholic, Pentecostal? You don't subscribe to that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I really don't I'm a believer. I don't really think of it as a religion.
Hmm.
I just believe in one. There's one God. That's it.
Oh, I dig that. I dig it. Now, I plan to talk to Lance Palmer soon. He too is one of the few fighters like you who made it back from the finals in last year to these finals. What lessons did you learn from season one that you took into season two? Were there any changes in training? Maybe you're resting or whatever in this season two from what you learned last year, or maybe just setting up fights for you and your family and friends because you go roll deep when you go into your fights. Were there any key lessons you took from season one that you used a lot in season two?
Um, Not really. Some stuff. I think I was pretty aggressive in the first season. I was aggressive in this season. It cost me one fight. I got caught, but all in all, I learned from it. My dad just he has a plan. All my fights, he tells me to stay calm and um, pick my shots. And I feel I did that with this last fight, but in that last fight with John Howard, I think he just caught me in, and you can get caught with 4 ounce gloves, so anybody can get knocked out, and I ain't afraid of getting knocked out. If we fought again, I'll fight him the same way, and yeah, I it's whatever.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk about season 2 and everything like that. The John Howard fight in the season opener, you had to fight your cousin Zain Kamaka. In your second fight, you fought John Howard. He stopped you from strikes. That's only the second time you've been stopped by strikes in your whole career. Then in the semifinals, you were set to have a rematch with your finals opponent Magomedkerimov. That he got injured. You end up having to fight Chris Curtis last minute. Has this season been much tougher on a mental and physical level than last year for you? Because last year you stormed through it and all the way to the finals. You were a wrecking machine. And if it was harder this year, do you feel you enter these finals a better fighter because you went through the trials and tribulations and the fire of a tougher season in season 2?
Yeah, the first season, it really prepared me. Fighting 2 times in a night, it's not easy, and um, obviously you see all the guys dropping out, and it's whether to do with their mind or their body, and they can just kind of handle it. And you just gotta really prepare yourself and fight one fight at a time, and that's pretty much the hardest night or the hardest part of the whole season is fighting in the playoffs. You're fighting twice in a night, and it's really taxing on your body, and you just gotta be prepared for it. And luckily, I went through it already in the first season, and I was ready for it. And yeah, it was a good learning experience from the first season till now. It wasn't that difficult. I just had a little bump in the road, but all in all, I ran through everybody the same way I did in the last season.
When what you went through in the playoffs, where you're going to fight Magomedkerimov, and then you set to face Chris Curtis. Is there what was the experience like? Does like PFL staff kind of walk up to you like, Ray, got some bad news? Like, is it a weird situation? Is it, are you mad? Like, what the hell's going on? Or you kind of, are you a guy that really isn't maybe preparing for multiple opponents and thinking about what to do? And you go in, you do what you got to do. As long as you execute, you win. So whoever it was, it really wasn't a big deal that the change happened last minute.
Yeah, the change was really I was ready for a fight, Magomed. I really wanted to fight him again because of last year, obviously, and but they really didn't tell me until I was walking out already.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it really doesn't matter. You gotta be ready to fight anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to fight anybody. I trained to fight. If I had to fight Chris, I would fight Chris. If I had to fight Magomed, I was ready. I was ready for both of them. So, but it really didn't matter. My dad trained me for anybody, whatever, whenever, wherever, what time. I don't care. But that's why PFL, the playoffs, is a very tough night, and not many people can handle that.
Now, for your opponent in the finals this year, David Michaud, I talked to him recently. He feels pretty confident about this fight, as every fighter would going into these kind of finals fights. Everybody's done so well. For him, the only real concern he has is your power. He feels you put everything into your punches, even on the ground. You throw bombs, but he felt you throw bombs on the ground, but you don't threaten with submissions and everything like that. Do you feel he may be like oversimplifying your skills and in a way kind of underestimating you?
Probably, but I never did show my game.
Yeah.
On the ground, but trust me, I can grapple.
Mm-hmm.
I just choose not to. I choose to. I like throw punches, and I like finish somebody. But if the guy is gonna run away, then I have to take him down and hold him down and win the fight that way. But yeah, he's damn right about I'm gonna throw big shots, and he better be ready. He better be worried about that because I think I'm the faster guy with the faster hands, and he punches hard too. He knocked out my last opponent, my other opponent, Anderson Ferreira, and yeah, I'm ready for him. If he says that, then that's his problem. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna take his head off.
Do you feel he is a more difficult fighter to prepare for than Magomedkerimov last year, or do you feel Magomedkerimov is just a much tougher opponent, and he, in your opinion, he was harder to prepare for than David Michaud is this year?
I think David is more experienced. He fought in the UFC. He fought uh, at the top of the top. So, but Magomed is more of a calculated fighter. He's gonna stick to his game plan, which is to wrestle and uh, win the fight on the mat. But I think David has a lot of experience, and well, he beat John Howard. He went through the whole side of the bracket. So I think that it's gonna be a good fight. He has a lot of experience, but experience doesn't help you if you get crack on your jaw. So um, I'm preparing to do that.
Now you were in the finals last year, like we talked about. You mentioned too, and it didn't work out for you. How difficult was that to get over? And do you feel, in a way, it puts extra pressure in that if you can't get it done the second time, would it be even tougher to get past after everything you've done? You've done everything you needed to get to this point. What was that first year really hard to get over that first loss in the season?
Oh, it was a little hard getting all the way to the finals and coming up short, but I lost before. It was nothing new to me. It's not like I was undefeated and it crushed my world.
Mm.
It, so yeah, I just shrugged it off. I look forward to the next season, and I'm back at it again. I did what I said I was going to do: get back in the finals and try to rematch Magomed. But obviously, he couldn't handle the he couldn't handle the playoff night, and that goes to show you that PFL is one tough organization, and the champions even fall in the playoff night.
Now, obviously, you didn't get the million, but I mean, I talked to a lot of people, and I talked to you about this a little bit last season. A lot of the fighters in the PFO, and David Michaud also said the same thing. Has been some of the best money making times of their career, either season one or season two, mainly because the activity, everybody's making some solid money, they're staying active. Even though you didn't get the million, was last year still a really, really good for you financially and changed your life? Because I know the runner up gets a good grand prize too. Was season one, like, was it a life changing thing, and does it make you look at this season and of that million, and man, I really did some, my life got better from season one. If I can get that million, boy, I can go to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it was very life changing for me. I was working on regular minimum wage job before, and to make over 100,000, it was awesome, and to take care of my family, my parents, um, giving them what they really wanted throughout their whole life. Them working there on 8 to 10 job every single day. Now they don't even need to work, and yeah, it's been a real life changing thing. It's been one of my biggest goals to fight full time, and I'm doing it now. And I'm back in the same place of getting that $1 million, and it's a bonus, but to get that million, but ultimately being the champion is my main concern.
Now, bringing up, you mentioned your family. We are 7 months removed from the fight. I mentioned earlier with Zayn. Have things gotten better with him and his side of the family since the fight, and the problems have kind of been squashed, or you guys really still not on talking terms since that whole thing early in the year?
Yeah, we're really not on talking to. We had problems
Mm.
before the fight, so it was kind of a weird thing. We used to be not close, but we was cordial. But then he has a big mouth sometimes, and he likes to talk. And um, but everything's good now. I really don't associate myself with them. They're kind of on a I don't know, their own. They're on their own, and I just stay to myself
Yeah.
and my immediate family. And yeah, it's been all right.
Now, I always like to end the interviews, trying to learn a little bit more about the fighter. So the folks that are watching this, they'll, learn something they didn't know about people. And you're not a guy who's big into social media, so they may learn a lot from this right now. What are some of the things you like to do that has nothing to do with fighting? Because I've talked to a lot of fighters, and they talk about how it's a grind, and it's a mental grind, it's a stress, and dealing with all this stuff, getting through fight camp and all this stuff. And for you, you're going to $1 million fight, championship fight, title fight. I'm sure there's a lot of stress mentally and physically. When you're not fighting, what do you like to do just to relax and diffuse? And I'm sure, and I know you're a family man. Aside from just hanging with your family, are you a Netflix guy? Are you a comic book guy? Video game guy? Like, what does Ray Cooper III like to do when he's not fighting?
I just really just hang out and probably go to the beach. We
Okay,
live on an island.
nice.
We really go to the beach when I'm off season. Just just hanging out and cruising, going diving, going dirt bike riding. right now I can't do all of that because I'm in camp, and
Yeah.
uh, my mom and dad gets really mad if I go out and do extra stuff other than fight.
Yeah.
So I can't really do that right now. But yeah, I'm a cruise guy. I just go to the beach. I play video games like with my brothers on our break time from training to get your mind off of stuff. And yeah, just real laid back cruise.
What's the last really, really good video game you played that you loved?
I love Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Ah, okay, all right.
Yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, some Fortnite we play,
Mm-hmm.
some For Honor. There's a lot of games we play. Fight Night, Champions.
Nice.
It's yeah. I'm a pretty big video game guy.
Is there any game that that you've told the wife or the parents like, get me that for Christmas? I gotta get that. Get me that. Is there a game that you really want?
Not right now, but I have all the games actually. I
Oh,
can go
okay,
and buy
all
them
right.
myself.